G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here watching my content. I do really appreciate it. So, Rugby World Cup warm up match between Wales and England. Finally, the Welsh have turned their losing streak around. Warren Gatland has seemingly turned this Welsh team around. This was a much better performance from their Six Nations outings. In fact, much better performance than Wayne Pivac was in charge. So yeah, Warren Gatland definitely done some really good work with this Welsh team. They have to debut a bunch of new props and forwards. And yeah, with all the debutants, with all the new players bringing into the group, the Welsh look like a much more complete, much more structured. Dan Biggar actually looked very good. Like, you know, he has always been good, but he just looked so much more well positioned, so much better positioned, I guess, for the Welsh team than when he was playing under Pivac. So yeah, this is really concerning for all of this. But before I get all doom and gloom for my team's prospects of getting out of the World Cup pool, this England side. Okay, have you ever watched a movie, right, where it's just so bad, so preposterously bad that it's like ironically funny and entertaining? Okay, have you ever seen a movie like that? That is basically what I watched with this England team, with this performance. It was so bad. Okay, you thought, okay, they're probably not doing their best because it's a rugby warm up match, but then it's so bad you can't even fathom how this team could be like heading into the Rugby World Cup. You could take this team. How could you possibly take this team to the Rugby World Cup? Like, it was unbelievable. The hilarious stuff. Like, I wrote down a few that was quite like hilarious. Okay, England had like a Morse, right? Like, it's like I was like, sorry, they had a more like 5 meters or something. They try to, you know, great opportunity to score a try. They get the ball down, and then the lock tries to pass the ball back to the hooker or whoever it was supposed to rip the ball at the back of the maul. Nobody ripped the ball, and the lock just like throws the ball to the ground. He just like drops the ball to the ground. Like, what? What is happening? When I saw that, I was just like, what is happening? It was like, you know, England was like, you know, had this period of like really close to like breaking the Welsh defense, and then I get a more that's just like lock throwing the ball to the ground. I was just like, oh my god, it was so bad. Like Marcus Smith was dropping the ball left and right. There were so many passes that just like uncatchable. It wasn't even like bad, like so bad. It was just like uncatchable from the England side. And there was like Freddie Stewart was dropping the ball, believe it or not. How is that even possible? And then it's just like, you know, England will make like some nice play and they just like drop the ball. The amount of times they like turnovers are conceded, I want to just see that. How many? 23 turnovers conceded. Oh my god. It was so bad. It was so bad, like England team performance. I genuinely don't know what is going on. Like, what are they even trying to do? They had, you know, a few key players resting, like Owen Farrell, but the majority, like, you know, most of the players are, you know, World Cup starting team contenders, right? And it was just unbelievable. And to think that England came out for the first half, right? To just walk away with 3 penalty goals. Like, they were clearly winning the first half, right? And then just like, yeah, we'll take some penalty goals. just to make sure we get the bonus point win, guys. Just to make sure we get the bonus point win with 3 penalty goals in the first half. Let's just take, you know, all the advantage. Like England was dominating Wales in the first half. You might argue, right? So the stats, England had 252 run meters to Wales 100, just over 100, right? And then England just went, yeah, we'll take that penalty goals for the World Cup warm-up match and bank that bonus point, right? going into halftime. Oh my god, it was really just unbelievable. Like ironically bad. The Welsh, like I said, was getting hammered in the first half. Came out the second half much better. They put on Dan Bigger. They put on some of the core players, and immediately the Welsh team looked just much sharper, much more adventurous. It was almost like they weathered the storm, and they're like, they're like recognizing that, hey, we're hanging in there. We're no longer like the Welsh team that can't losing to Italy at home, losing to Georgia at home. We're a different team, and then they kind of built that confidence and just came out with a much like world class performance for the Wales in the second half. That was 3 tries to the Wales in this 2 tries. Sorry, there was 1 decline to Wales in the second half. Is it 2 tries? I thought it was 3. Oh yeah, 2 tries. There was 1 that was declined by Reece Zammit. But yeah, I guess we can just go through some of the stats and skip the first half. So 345 run meters to England's 375. So England still had more run meters overall, despite getting 252 already in the first half, right? Turnovers conceded, like it was just comical how many times England just like throws their own ball away, dropping the ball. 23 turnovers conceded to the Wales, 11. At half time, England conceded 12 turnovers. So considering you're already having 12 turnovers conceded, surely you had a chat at halftime to make sure that number comes down. Not just kept on picking for the entirety of the second half for England. Tackles made, quite decent for both teams. 176 to Wales, 17 mistakes. Like that's once again world-class defense. Something that Warren Gatland has really emphasized on with Wales in the past. So this is like again just world-class defense wins you test matches. And I was surprised that England was not really able to break the Welsh. Obviously the polish is not there, but Wales did well to hold off the English advance anyway. 141 tackles for England, 21 missed tackles, a little bit less than the Wales overall percentage. Kicks in play, Wales really like dominated the kicking game, especially in the second half when Dan Bigger came on. I just really started to spice things out a little bit, a lot less style. And England's kicking it was really poor. Second half especially, there were times where it was just like, let's just kick because we don't know what to do. And it wasn't even like, like there was like really poor kicks as well. Like, they would literally kick high, like, they would do like a high box kick that doesn't even, just inside their own half, and it doesn't even go past the halfway point. Like, what is the point? Okay, the ball hasn't even gone past the halfway. Why would you do a box kick that doesn't even travel past the halfway point? Like you just like what you get the ball back and you're still inside your own half, right? Like what's the point of that? And there was some really poor questionable kicks by England as well. So Marcus Smith is the only one that got a bit of a, I guess, practice with his goal kicking. 3 out of 3. That's quite good, I guess. If that's what you kind of like use this warm up match for, that's great. You spend 80 minutes to give 3 goal kicks for practice for your goal kicker. Fair enough. The Welsh scrum was struggling a little bit in the first half, but in the second half, the Welsh scrum was much better. Especially considering they've got new props coming in with the Welsh team. It's just really impressive stuff for how much difference that Warren Gatland has turned the team around. 8 penalties considered for Wales to the England 6, and overall the discipline was quite good for both teams. But like the turnovers conceded, like these are just a lot of these are just unforced errors as well. It's really embarrassing to be really frank with you. So let's just go through some key points. There's not really much to talk about in the first half. 2 penalties for Wales, 3 for England. England actually had an opportunity to potentially get a try just before halftime. They went for it, but they were just not really breaking the Welsh defense, and eventually they gave up and opted for 3 points just before halftime. It turns out that was basically where they're giving up for the whole game. It looked like, because the second half was more Wales, right? 7 minutes in the second half, basically Wales gets their first try on the board. Just like England missed like half the tackles there. The Jack Morgan, number 7, got like a little offload by the Welsh team. Watch him just like really starting to run a bit wider with their attack. And then Jack Morgan gets like an inside ball from I think from his winger, maybe Georgia North. He gets the inside ball. He runs through, and he's number 7, right? He's just like dancing around at England backs were just missing tackle. Could not touch him. Almost like he looked like he was. You know, you wouldn't believe that he was a number 7 jersey on his back. He was just like juking people around, and then eventually gets offload in field to Gareth Davies, the bane of the Wallabies' existence. Gareth Davies gets the ball eventually. Basically, he was already free, nobody in front of him. Goes in for the first try for Wales. England probably missed like 5-6 tackles in this one series, one run here. And that was really, really embarrassing from them. 50 minutes into the game, there was... Oh my god, this was so bad. Okay, I should have talked about this earlier. This is how pathetic England rugby was, okay? There was one point where England was... This was like right in front of the goalpost, like on the 22-meter mark. The English halfback, who was it? I want to call him. I want to know who it was. I think it was Van Porvier. Yeah, I think it was Van Porvier. He tried to milk a penalty right in front of the goalpost. I mean, first of all, it's the Rugby World Cup match. You seriously think you're gonna try to win this match, like warm-up match? You're trying to win this warm-up inconsequential match with goal kicking? Like, seriously? And that's the first thing that doesn't make sense to me. Secondly, he tried to milk a penalty by throwing the ball forward into a Welsh player. Yeah, and I just, like, Nick Berry was just like, yeah, you throw it into him forward. It's actually a forward pass. And he was like, I could not believe how stupid this was and how desperate this was. He tried to milk the penalty by throwing the ball forward onto a Welsh player. Like, it's so bad, it's ironically hilarious to watch, okay? So yeah, that happened. And then we've got some scrum collapses. Like Marcus Smith, you know, show some good, you know, inside ball to Joey Merchant, who made a good run, and then immediately Marcus Smith drops the ball the next phase. And then we've had some, there was one point where, who was it? One of the English players charged the ball down on a Welsh clearance kick inside the 22, and it was looking like really dangerous, right? He charged the ball down and then completely lost track of the ball. He literally spun around, I would say at least 2 full rotations, and he couldn't see where the ball landed. Okay, it was, again, like, it was like watching a cartoon character spinning around trying to find where the ball is. The English, I didn't get the number, but one of the English players charged the ball down. Hilarious. 65 minutes into the game, 14 handling errors to England. That's just handling errors. 14 handling errors. Not turnovers conceded, because that, you know, some of the turnovers conceded, handling errors are like unforced errors, right? Turnovers conceded sometimes includes, you know, Wales getting the turnover at the breakdown. Handling errors just completely, horrendous. 57 minutes into the game, George North gets a second try for Wales. I think what happened was, this was, so this was just, again, Dan Biggar showing that his experience and his accuracy with his kicking game. He just had the ball and had a vision, some space down the sideline, just grab and kick the ball straight down the sideline. And I'm pretty sure this was Halfpenny, runs up and actually gets the ball back for Wales. And then the Welsh just piled in down the sideline, got really close to the English try line, and the ball comes out, spreads the ball out wide to the other side, got really close again, and then the ball come back in field. George North was center field, wide open, with all the English defense getting stretched too thin on both sides. He just basically steps the one defender in front of him, untouched, goes in for the second try for the Welsh. Just before full time, Reece Zammit almost gets a try as well. Again, crossfield kick to Zammit, catches ball on a full, and then he grubber kicks the ball. I think it was a cross kick, yeah, and he grubbers kicked the ball down the field. He runs in, grounds the ball just before the ball bounced it out. The TMO says, yes, it's a try. And then Nick Berry was watching this on the actual referee was watching this on television. Was like, hang on, it looked like there was separation down here. So he goes up to the TMO again and asks if there was, to double check if there was no separation. And then the TMO was like, oh yeah, sorry, there was a separation on the hand. My bad. No try was given for Reece Zammit. But yeah, this was a well-deserved win for Wales, especially in the second half. didn't just try to milk 3-pointers to win a warm up match. Okay, really, really bizarre. And then yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with this England team. They're up against Argentina and Japan. Argentina are definitely gonna beat England. Japan, not looking too great at the moment. They lost to Fiji, so it's not quite doom and gloom. You know, it's not quite guaranteed that England's gonna get knocked out from the pool. But for the Wallabies, yeah, it's looking quite dangerous to potentially get knocked out on the pool because Wales is looking really good. Like this Welsh team can definitely be the Wallabies. And then the Fijian team that beat Japan earlier today definitely has the opportunity to be the Wallabies as well. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen in the Wallabies pool, and I think the Wallabies might get knocked out in pool stage. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys a bit later for the Springbok game. Cheers.